Hey guys, so Thrall was one of the main heroes that I used for getting to Grandmasters last season, and I did it primarily playing in the solo lane. I didn't really use Crash Lightning at all, maybe one or two games, but generally, even in the 4-man, a lot of times the pros aren't picking Crash Lightning, they're still picking Echo, as it brings so much to the table. So I always pick Echo of Elements at level 1, and my goal is to usually stack it before level 4, but it sometimes can be a little bit difficult if the enemy is playing pretty aggressive, or if the enemy is purposely taking, like, standing over minions that are about to die. The first thing that I always do is I like to position pretty aggressively. I like to see if the enemies don't show up in the solo lane. If they don't, then I can usually get a couple free stacks of Chain Lightning very quickly. But I try to be a little conservative on my abilities until I get Mana Tide Totem. So, or not Mana Tide Totem, but just Mana Tide. So you can see, first thing I do, get it low, and then I just sit back now. I don't know where Leoric is, but I want to try to hold off a little bit. I'm going to try to get some of these backline minions low, so I can finish that one, and then boom. So there's 2 stacks in that one wave, and that worked out pretty well for me. I'm going to be aggressive here and try to just get him out of the way, and then I'm going to get still more stacks. I'm at 4 stacks on the first wave of the game. Not bad. I mean, pretty much really where I want to be. Now I just kind of want to wait until he uses his Q and then dodges E. And as long as I can do that, it doesn't really matter the speed that I do these. Hard part is if he stands over the minions like he was about to do right there, it gets a little bit challenging. But generally right here, I just don't want to push. I want to play it safe. I want to make sure that I'm getting as many stacks off of these waves as possible. One of the tricks you can do is just freeze the lane as Thrall. Make sure that the minions are closer to your side compared to theirs. And just keep doing your stacks whenever you get a chance, grabbing globes whenever you can, and making sure that the wave stays generally on your side of the field. And I'm at 7 stacks already, and again, my goal is 20 by level 4. So generally what I do is I just kind of play safe until I hit that point. Once I hit that point, then I can play a little bit more aggressively. Once again, I don't want these minions to push forward, so I'm simply going to freeze the lane so that they stay closer to my side of the field, and then I just use my Q to make sure that I'm getting them there. This is forcing him to play really passively, and he's not getting anything done up here, while I am actively getting closer to my goal of getting my quest done. Now, on this side, when I get Mana Tide, you're going to notice that I try to clear up the minions much faster. But for now, I'm just trying to get as many of these done as possible. And even when he does get here, I can play pretty aggressive and get him quite low. In fact, I can trade pretty evenly into him. And then now we're level 4. I'm at 11, so I'm pretty far behind from where I want to be. But I do have Mana Tide now, so I can spam my abilities just a little bit more. And I can play a little bit more aggressive if I want to, purely because I can, like, use my abilities and get mana back. So you'll see me do a lot more where I'll do stuff like that, where I'll use my W to clear. And once again, I don't want these to push out, but what I can do here is I can get them all low enough to where I can clear these and get multiple stacks off of this wave. I'm going to just keep trying to push here, and I'm actually going to push this out as far as I can, purely because he's going to be doing that camp. So while he's doing this camp, I want to get this as low as possible. There we go. I'm at 19 stacks at level 5. I'm doing pretty good so far. Let me make sure that they are not pushing too hard into ours. I want to join my team for this. And we're just going to get right into getting some damage off. Just free damage. I want to stay away from the Jaina, and I want to pop that. Nice. So now we got the 50% experience from getting into this this diva. Breaking the diva's mech. We got the 50%. I'm going to go head up, and I'm going to stop this camp that is pushing. And I'm going to start off by finishing my quest, and then I'm just going to blow through this. And you can pretty much mash your abilities. Once you have the Mana Tide down, you can pretty much just go through and mash all of your abilities whenever they're up. And this is really the most efficient way of doing things with Thrall, because now your mana costs are relatively low, and you can pretty much just kind of blow through everything. I'm going to just take one more wave here. I want to make sure that we're getting that extra soak, you know what I mean? See if I can push this wave in. They are actually missing, so I'm a little cautious, but All right, now those minions are gonna die to the towers, so they're gonna miss 2 whole waves of soak that I've already gotten done. And let's get right into assisting in the race, because I think, while I'm not the fastest racer out there, I don't think I'm going to be able to stall much either. So I'm going to focus on just getting some DPS off. We do have a Vala, which is a really fast racer to begin with, and we may actually be able to win this. Let's see. Nice. So we did really, really well right there. So not only did I get us ahead in experience, I also got it to where we were, I might just back, and then I'm going to go bot. I got bot. No. So, I'm backing because I want to have more health and mana when I go bot, and I want to be able to aggress a little bit more. Level 7, I almost always go Ancestral Wrath. The only time I go other talents is if I'm really getting bullied by a very specific laner who has very sustained healing. Then I will go with follow through to try to like bully through that sustained healing. But generally, I stick with Ancestral Wrath, as it's just a good chunk of healing, and it allows you to kind of melt through tanks, which the enemy should always have. So now I've gotten my team ahead on experience. We've won the race, as well as I've completed my quest. So I have my kind of end game pressure now. All in all, I'm doing pretty well. I could just hit that once, but normally you don't want to use your abilities on a single enemy too much, purely because of the way that your Mana Tide works. You want to make sure you're using your abilities on as many as possible. For example, here I'm trying to clear out the minions at a similar pace so that I can still get the chain lightning value off of as many targets as possible. And if this Jaina tries to come down, not only can I kill her, but I can also still, like, even here, I didn't even miss any soak. I missed 1 minion of soak to get that camp. So I'm being pretty scary already. I'm going to just push through with this, using my abilities off cooldown. Going to kind of move around and try to bully her a little bit, make sure that she can't just get free damage off. And that's what I love about Thrall, too. He's actually really scary if he's bullying people. And she's dead. So I use Ancestral Wrath to get the extra damage off in order to kill her. It does 15% of her health. So you can see that's a really, really effective way to win in a 1v1. And a lot of people don't realize how much damage Thrall's actually capable of. Which is why I really think that he's the hero that I go to a lot when I'm solo laning and I'm not sure who to pick. Purely because he fits so many different situations. In a situation like this, I'm going to be going Sundering. There are more scenarios where Sundering is better, even though I really do like Earthquake, and I love Earthquake's level 20 upgrade. However, I'm not sure if we're going to get to level 20, and I would rather get the burst damage. Once again, I'm just going and I'm using all of my abilities. I want these minions to die at the... I want all of my minions to die at the enemy's fort, so that they miss out on that soak. Now, it looks like the Jaina is going to stop them from there. But I can go over and I can start helping up here. And I can even flank him with a Sundering. Ooh, that's awkward. Let's act like we didn't see that. I'm going to simply back here because I don't want to... Ooh, almost got interrupted there. I would have been okay. That's why I was really watching what I was doing as I was backing. Sometimes when you back, you kind of look around at the other state of the map. I was really watching where we were because I didn't want to have any issues, but it should be good. The other reason that I like Thrall on this map in particular is that you can really poke away at things. Like, that's just as simple as it goes. It's like you can poke at things. And that's the other thing that I really like about Thrall is he can hold his own in any matchup, but he actually dominates in certain matchups. So against people like Malthael, he can really just bully a Malthael. But at the same time, he kind of holds his own. Let's all go with 5. We've got a pretty good lead in terms of experience, so that's why I'm trying to get the whole team together. I'd rather not like split up now when we have full health Immortal, and I could poke really well too. So but yeah, he can hold his own against just about any other solo laners, and he just does really, really well against people that not only like does he do well against certain people, but he just Just any solo laner. Oh, I did that a little too late. Unfortunate. I'm going to use my percent health and see if I can kill him. Nice. I'm going to use my E to get myself some movement speed and see if I can get close enough, which I can't. But we're actually really close to getting this person dead. Nice. There's a double kill. See if I can get some damage in there. A little bit, not too much. I'm going to go up top lane. I'm going to tell them to go do this camp. I don't know when it spawns, but it should be spawning soon. Level 13, I like Frostwolf's Grace more than a lot of the other talents, although I have seen some pros pick up the E talent. So, one of the things that you can definitely do is pick up that E talent, but it works okay with certain talents. Otherwise, I don't really like getting it too much. In this case, it looks like we have some people that are going for that one. I'm just going to go for this. I don't want to push too far because I'm just risking a lot. Well, I am risking a lot doing this. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to give them it because they were going to take it either way, and now this way I don't die. There. I could even do that. And he got cleansed. Weird. Actually, I might stay. I'm just going to hit a fountain. Because I do want to deal with this camp that they just got, that I helped them with. But it was a risk, but it was a smaller risk than pushing forward, so. Wait, are we going for this? I don't think we can. I don't like this. Alright, that was pretty good. I could use a Sundering here, but honestly, we already won this engage. There's no reason to waste anything further for the chance of getting something when we can save Sundering for when we truly need it. I like this call because the enemies are distracted bot lane. So, great call by our Joanna to go for this camp. And now we can go straight to racing. Thrall's race isn't that great, but if you're ever on defense, he can poke really well. Or if you're on offense and you're trying to like race while they're distracting you, he actually is surprisingly good at that. So he does 300 damage per auto attack at level 14, which is pretty good. So his E is decent for racing, but generally, again, I pick him more just if I don't know what to pick and I'm solo laning. I don't really overthink anything. I just kind of, he just works. Ooh, that's pretty good. I'm going to use this and immediately do this, and boom, he's dead. Actually, I didn't get the Ancestral off. I'm going to move into the middle and then see if I can get over here. I'm going to pop my Ancestral so I can get some healing. Now, the Ancestral is interesting because it doesn't actually show the healing that you're about to get. It only shows the, let's see if I can kill this guy too. He went guillotine, so he's dead. And that's a pretty good push for us. I'm going to go grab my fountain and push with this. And yeah, Thrall's pretty brutal. I mean, I usually don't top hero damage. I sometimes do pretty well in siege damage, but I am pretty effective when we get in. Now, at level 16, unless I'm going against like really beefy tanks, I just simply go for Thunderstorm, as you can stack it up pretty quickly by just tagging different people. In this case, I'm going to try to tag the Lucio, and you can stack it up really quickly if you do have Echo of Elements too. So it's a nice slow as well, gives you a little bit of CC that you might not have been having before, and allows you to kind of just keep alternating between hitting two people. It kind of gives you a mini game, which is what I really like about it, because it just keeps it entertaining. And then when it gets finished, it increases the damage and has the slow. So there's multiple reasons why you should be having this. And even here, we're going to just see if we can get her to pop her ult. Nice. Going to pop a Q on her, get some free damage off. Even though the damage just gets pretty much healed back because she gets into her mech. But yeah, you can see the big slow now when I hit people with that. And this is when the damage actually starts getting kind of real, as you're doing 25% extra damage with your Echo every time. The problem is you can't repeat it on the same target. So if you see one person, you almost don't want to use your Q multiple times on the same target just because you're going to lose so much of your Q. So what I start to do later is I start to using my Q on like structures. In this case, we're just going to keep using the Q, alternating between targets. I'm just going to ult here, see if I can save my team a little bit, do a little bit of peeling for him. I'm going to slow the Jaina. I'm going to use my Q onto Lucio, probably. I won't be able to get up to him. Ooh, that's a good slow. There's no way I get to this Lucio, though. And that's the problem. Did you see how I didn't want to use my Q on Jaina because she was the last target that I used my Q on? It's kind of the same general idea of I don't want to waste it, so I don't end up using it at all, when in reality we probably could have killed her. I'm going to use my Qs on the structures and my W through it so I can lower the cooldown of my E, and then I'm going to use my E to get out. Just going to kind of get a nice Q over onto someone, and we've got a keep already. I'd like to maybe get this top camp. So if I can get this top camp, that pretty much gives us a keep while the objective's going on. So we're even talent tiers. They're going to go for that one. I'm going to go for this one. And the bonus damage doesn't stop if you use it on a minion twice. So you can see how I will quickly use it onto minions. Because it doesn't really matter if I use it on the same target 2 times in a row. And there we go. So this will get us a keep, and the and we've got camps pushing. Looks like they've got a cam to stop it. So I'm just going to join the team again. I now have a ton of utility. I've got slows, I've got roots, I've got stuns. I can melt a tank. Now they don't have a real tank, but still, I can really just blow people up. I'm just going to step back so he doesn't get too much healing off of me. He's already used his W, so I'm just trying to... Ooh, this is interesting. Can I get out, or am I dead? I got out, but at what cost? I'm going to use my ult, and then kill the Jaina. And I'm going to heal off of the D.Va as she's the next highest health. I'm going to use my E to get out, and I'm going to slow. I'm going to slow again. And I'm just going to try to stay out of these fights a little bit while also getting some free poke. I didn't use my fountain, so I'm going to quickly grab a fountain. I did use my fountain. That's awkward. Well, our bot lane is pretty much winning here, so I'm just going to do what I can to stop us from losing too much. At least killing the one minion that's actually summoning minions. I don't really care so much about clearing everything else. I'm about to die off this minion, though. One more of these. Nice. I'm going to pop my trait to get some free heals. I usually save my trait for, like, fights where I'm trying to, like, really bait the enemies into doing something. But in this case, I kind of just could have used it. And I'm going to just pop it again because I want to get that extra mana, too. So I'm just going to kind of get in here, and I'm going to see if I can stop them from racing. I'm going to slow him and see if I can scare him. Like, you want to just... There's a whole psychology to this, too. Like, if you can slow someone and, like, aggressively step up on them, then they're not going to feel like they can just keep walking up and getting free damage off. You want to scare people. And that's another thing that Thrall does really well is he's very good at just quickly, like, scaring someone. Like this, for example. I'm just going to pop that. I'd like to kill this guy. Alright, nice. I'm actually low on mana, and so I can't do very much. But I can slow him so he can't get the kill, so that's going to be pretty good for us. At this level, you pretty much want to, if you went Earthquake, you want to upgrade it. It's one of the better upgrades in the game. Gives you like 3 Storm Shields or something. If you didn't go Earthquake, I don't like the impassable terrain. I prefer Windrush, allows you to teleport on people. Again, it's kind of that psychology, you can really jump on someone, or you can get out of a fight really quickly. But you could do something like this, jump over, and then just blow someone up. And so we can quickly do this and then blow up 2 people. So that's why I really like that. You can just get right into the fight very quickly. Let's see if we can pop this. Get her to burn it. Nice. I'm just going to go right on to racing. I'm just going to kind of ignore her actually. Back on to just getting some of this done. I'm going to have my E to escape, so I'm not too worried about this. And we'll get double globes. Is this enough for me to stay in lane? Nah, I'm going to back. I'll be able to get to the objective, not quite in time for it to be there, but I'll be to the objective when we start winning. So that's pretty much how you play Thrall. I mean, I like him again. To kind of repeat, I use him when I'm not sure who to pick in the solo lane because he kind of fills every little role. You need more physical damage, he has it. You need more magic damage, he has it. You need roots, he has it. He can hold his own against any solo laner. There's a few that counter him pretty hard, like Zagara, but generally everything else is pretty standard. He does really well against a lot of different people. I'm just going to ult like this. My hope was to get him a little bit closer to our team, but either way. I'm just going to use my my E, get some free damage off. Get a nice little Q there. Q onto Lucio if I can get one. I'm just going to use my Ancestral. Oh, I was going to use Ancestral on Lucio to get that extra healing. So after this, I will show you guys the build that I recommend. I've talked about this before in my 4 mistakes video of Thrall, but I do want to share it a little bit with you guys, purely because it is something that you might want to see. He does have a decent chunk of like wave clear if you wanted to double soak lanes, so I think that would be good. So this is the build that I go on Thrall. Where is he? Assassins. He was released a while back. All right. So onto the talents. This is what I go. Echo of Elements pretty much every time. We saw how effective it was to just keep tagging people over and over and over, right? Level 4, Mana Tide. Lowers the cooldown of your abilities, gives you some mana back, allows you to keep using your Q over and over and over. Level 7, Ancestral. We saw how surprising amount of damage, what the surprising amount of damage I was able to pull out, even against people with low health. I walked right up to Jaina at half health, used my W, my E, my Q, and an Ancestral, and she walked out and died. And it's because no one expects it from a really good Thrall to do that much damage that fast. All right. I will pick follow through against like sometimes Rexars where I need to like just blow apart their bear. Sometimes Urel. It really depends on the situation. I go Sundering if I need burst damage or if the enemies have high mobility and high dashes that can get away from an Earthquake. If they don't have high mobility or high dashes and I don't need the burst damage, Earthquake is so good, and if you get to level 20, it is incredibly overpowered. Level 13, Frostwolf's Grace is just really good, despite the fact that I didn't use it very much that game, as I oftentimes will get Grace of Air when I get Sundering, because I usually will get Wind Rush, and it works really well with Grace of Air, but either way. Level 16, Thunderstorm is the most sustained damage that you're going to be able to do, as you're constantly doing damage to different people and you're slowing people, as you can slow them up to 40% on an instant cast ability wherever you need to slow people. Alpha Wolf I can't talk. Alpha Wolf works really well when you're going against heavy health people, but then oftentimes people recommend getting Frostwolf Pack, as you'll have a lower cooldown and be able to get more percent health off more often. I feel like if you're going to get Ancestral, you almost don't need that, because if they have a single tank, you can blow them up anyways. If they're like 3 tanks, I could see you going Alpha Wolf as well as Frostwolf Pack. Level 20, always upgrade Earthen Shields if you got that one. If you didn't get that one, I like Wind Rush. You saw how, again, the Jaina tried to get out. I teleported behind her and just blew her up. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why Thrall is so powerful and why he's been my go-to pick last season. And he was the solo laner that I used pretty consistently to get to Grandmasters. Thank you guys very much for watching, and feel free to check out my other videos.